Hi everyone, Matt here from mattleachphotography.com. Welcome to my new YouTube channel. Over the coming few weeks I'm going to be sharing some tips and tutorials and insights to my workflow that hopefully you might find useful and introduce to your own. The first question I'm going to answer is, how do I clean up my backgrounds? Dust spots, creases, footprints, etc, etc. I've found a new hack, tip, however we want to call it, about 6 months ago, and it really sped up my workflow. It's very different to the way a lot of people do it, so I thought I'd share it with everyone. I'm going to use this image of the lovely Lucia, as we shot this image when we had only a short amount of grey left, so it was very dirty and I knew I was going to have to do something in post-processing with it, but I knew it wouldn't be an issue. So if I zoom out now, I'm just going to show you, this is a shortcut for a solar curve on the Retouching Academy Beauty Retouching panel. I know you won't all have this, and this isn't part of the process. I'm just doing it to demonstrate exactly how dirty the paper is and how we need to clean it up. So you can see up here there's creases, there's dust spots. This was shot on my old camera. I've now changed my camera. This was right at the end of the life of my old D800. So I don't have this issue anymore, at least. And as you can see, it needs a lot of work on it. So I'm going to delete these two layers because they aren't part of the process. They were just for demonstration purposes, and I'm going to start and show you exactly how you can clean this up very quickly and simply. So starting off, we make a duplicate layer. If we go back over to the layers section, and with the shortcut on the keyboard Command J, make a second layer. This is because we don't want to work on the background layer. We always want an original image on the bottom layer. So making sure we have layer 1 highlighted, we're going to go over now to the filter menu, noise and medium. And that will think for a little bit and bring up a little control panel and a slider. Make sure you've got preview ticked so you can see exactly what we're working with. And as you can see now, the image has turned into one of those lovely IKEA oil paintings. Not quite the look we're looking for, but don't worry, we'll bring her back. So as you can also see though, the background has got very clear. It's up quite high, this radius is. The radius we're going to select is different on every image, every camera. So you will have to play with this, but the goal is that we use the slider to go down as low as we can, but to make sure the background is natural looking but also very clean. Because as you can see, it's merged all those dirt marks now into a blur. So I'm going to say on this image, see, I think that's a little bit too low. For me, around 60 I think is going to be about right for us on this image. Still keeps the shadows realistic, maybe a little bit lower. I'm going to say 55, 50 even. There we go. So the shadows will still be realistic, but all the marks have disappeared. The reason we don't want to go too high is, first of all, the processing power takes forever, but secondly, the shadows start to look very muddy and blurred and soft and unrealistic. So we want to stay away from the higher numbers. And as I say, I think if we work around the 50 mark on this image, oops, that works out about right. So we click OK and we let the map do its magic. Now this takes a little bit of time, so I'm just going to cut the video off here and then restart it towards the end of the progress bar. OK, and we're back. So the progress is nearly done, and as you see, it will transform back into the oil painting, and there it is. So we've got a lovely clean background, but obviously a very blurred subject. So now I'm going to teach you how to bring it back. Very simple again. This is such a simple way of doing it. We go over to the layer 1, make sure it's highlighted, and on this icon here we add a layer mask. Make sure it's a white fill, and then we select a brush. I have a palette here that I've made my own brushes in just so that they're shortcuts to speed up my workflow. So we just click on 100%. Obviously if you haven't got this, you just put the settings at the top. We want 100% opacity and 100% flow. The important bit is we make sure we've got a black foreground on this little panel here. And then brush size, we're going to take the slider up so that it gives us a big enough brush to do it fairly quickly with. In fact, I'd say that's about right, but not too much. Now, we don't have to be too careful on this. Obviously, if I'm doing this for the tutorial, so I'm going to be a lot more casual about it. But we brush over the subject and bring her back. As you can see, she just pops back straight away. And we have to brush over all the areas to bring her back into the image. So you can be quite casual about this. Obviously, the more precise you are, the better. But for the tutorial purpose, I'm going to do it quite quickly. As you can see there, she is back to normal again. Now, another quick tip you need to watch for is you have to make sure you cover the whole area. So if I take the zoom brush here, somewhere you need to be very careful is the shadows and blacks. So if we go back to the brush, make sure it's black again. As you can see, I missed these areas here. I actually did it deliberately just for the tutorial, but you need to make sure you've covered. There is a bit up here, look. It's very easy to miss in the shadows. And around the hair, look. As I say, I'm doing this very quickly for you. You don't need to see me watch every little corner and crease. There we go. Now, just to zoom in, take the zoom tool in again down here. This is where you'll have your problem areas. So the floor was very dirty. So around her feet, when I've done it casually, the mask, the black area, has gone over onto the floor and brought back some of the dirty marks. Very simply, switch to a white foreground, back to your 100% brush, drop the size down this time so we can be a little bit more precise, and just paint them away again. And I actually slipped there and you probably saw a bit of the blur come back, but not to worry. If that happens, we can switch back to the black and make it disappear again. Go over to the other foot and the same there, back to the white, and any of the dirty marks that just reappeared, just paint them away again. Obviously, depending on how careful you were originally with the selection, depends on how much you need to do this. I find it's always good to quickly just scan around the image and make sure there's nothing you've missed. Okay, and then we zoom out, and there you can see she's now on a perfectly clean background. If we toggle it on and off, you can see exactly how that's worked. We'll zoom in onto the floor and toggle on and off again, and you can see the difference it's made so simply. And if we zoom out again, what I'll do is I'll just drop this solar curve on again and you'll be able to see the exact difference. There you go. If you remember the image before, don't worry about the banding here on the solar curve. You're just looking for creases, dots, etc, etc. And you can see they've all disappeared. So we'll just delete that again. And there you have it. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. If you use it at all, please feel free to share it with me. I'd love to be tagged in your images and see how you've been done on Instagram. You can follow me at Matt Leach Photography on Instagram. There's a link up above. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.